So in this video, we would be talking about the configurations of Lambda one by one, exploring them. In the last video, we have already understood the basic concept or basic terminologies in Lambda, or we have executed a basic functions, which is printing the values whatever I would be providing in the request and returning the key one value. So uh, we have already explored that in the previous video. In this video, let's go on explore each of these configuration. So as I've told you that Lambda can be integrated with other applications. So how? Let's go on and explore that. Also, one more, which is a popular question, which can come up in certification if you guys are preparing for one, is that Lambda can be implemented in various languages, as I have already shown you, like Python, Java, and all. But it cannot be implemented in Docker for having applications run on Docker. We have other services called ECS and Fargate, so we can use them. Then coming on to this section, we can integrate Lambda with a lot of services. How? So we have two options for integration. One is add as trigger and add as destination. So we'll start with having adding the services as trigger. So when we add services as trigger means we are getting the information from services onto Lambda and processing them. When we add services as destination, it means that our Lambda is giving information to those services. So we can start with having an SQS service. So I'm adding this SQS service to send on some information to my Lambda function, and my Lambda function would be processing that information. So let's see how it does that. I'll go on to create. Okay, as I chose this SQS from this option, I was being asked to choose the SQS queue, but I don't have one. So let's go on to and create one SQS queue. Um, I'll create a queue, standard queue, lambda demo queue. Keep everything as default. If you guys want to, if you guys are interested in knowing more about SQS, I have created a video. You guys can check out that video in my, and I have explained almost everything about SQS. So you guys can check out that video. So I have created a SQS queue. And I'll select this queue from here. It is coming, and maximum number of messages to retrieve in a single batch. I'll say is as 3. I'll keep it as 10. Enable the trigger now, or create it disabled with enable it right away. And an error came because it is telling me provide execution role that doesn't have access to blah blah. So it is saying because my Lambda function doesn't have access. How I can check that? I can go on to my Lambda function and go on to permission tab and check out that I don't have I have these many permissions only to create log stream, and put log events. And these were created when I was creating the Lambda function, and for giving add permissions to get the message from SQS, we have to give the right permissions from here. um, so I'll go to the execution rules we got created while creating this Lambda function, and add attach policy. I'll search for SQS, and I'll go with Lambda SQS queue destination role, or I'll go with this, and we'll check if it is working or not. I'll go to this section and yes, I'm able to now add my SQS as trigger. So I'll go and test by sending a message, check for Lambda SQS demo. Then I will send this message. And I'll go and I'll go. Also, I'll go and print this message, and I'll test see by going to my Lambda function, go to my logs and see if anything is being tracked there. And I'll go here and I'll go by here. So I'll execute one more time. Okay, this was the latest one. So yes, I saw that I got the message body as check for Lambda. So here we have got the message, and we can do more processing depends on our logic or need. So that's how we can add services to trigger Lambda function. In the coming video, we would be exploring more about the destinations. So yes, thank you everyone.